Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is June the 20th, 2024. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Definitely sweating it out, but good. Let's see. Work went well. I had a good day. Not too heavy. I will say it's annoying because they installed this big old tent. And I was like, why are they doing this? Why are they they literally came and had people come in and like put down tent poles like into concrete, which I later found out that this is a limited engagement. It's only going to happen for like a day. And then they're going to come and take them out and fill up the holes. I'm like, this is so fucking silly. We're paying so much money for this. And what is this? This thing I'm telling you. It's essentially a 30-year anniversary for the company. And it's like, you could just like give us more money or like better treats. Instead, we're doing a field day. Like I said, we're going to be playing cornhole, I guess other little activities. They're letting us have an extended break. I guess that's cute for the day only. It's odd. It seems like a weird pat on the back for the company. Also, once again, they could just like funnel that money into other ways. Like I could have had a better treat. And also, we have to, I think, pay for these activities. But the money that we're giving are donations to charity. Which, if you know how corporations do with charity, then you know why I'm kind of just like looking at the camera like I'm Jim Halpert here. Like, what the fuck? Like, it just seems so strange. But overall, that has nothing to do with the day, for real. It's just, a thing that's happening. Let's see here. But Food Corner from last night was hamburger, hot dogs, I should say, and fries. And then I got really fat. I was surprised up until I actually counted the cost for what I ate last night. And just kind of what I've been eating throughout the week. I was like, why am I almost like a 260 again? Oh, and then I just remembered, on top of what I just told you I ate, then I had fish sticks and chicken. So it's like, Isaiah, yeah, you gotta fucking check yourself before you wreck yourself. And I'm like, yeah, but food still tastes good. So that's where I've been at. But speaking of food, there's a part two because there's a reason I'm coming in a little bit later. The real ones know. I don't know if I have anyone who actually listens like when this comes out, like the day or night of. But yeah, coming in a little later, I decided to go out and get some food with a friend. That was nice. I went to a place I hadn't gone to called Torchy's Tacos. Definitely like a Chipotle kind of vibe. Only you're not like, exactly on the same kind of line situation, but, we're talking tacos, burrito bowls. They had some other stuff too that, I might go back and try. Like they had churros that looked pretty good. I think they had like a cookie situation. So I'm like, okay, all right. I'm seeing what you're laying down here. What I got was a jerk chicken taco. It was like about like a $5-6 taco, not too bad. I will say, I initially saw, I was like, I should have gotten like 2 tacos for sure. But overall, it was fine. Like I said, after everything I've been eating, I kind of was like, maybe it's all right if I just did this and some chips. So I had that, and then I did the chips and salsa. So that was good. It was like a little bit of a medium verde situation, if you're familiar with the Chipotle vibe. But yeah, how would I rate it? I would say it was very good. Like I said, I'm already talking about going back, so definitely will be doing that. But I would say it's better than a Hotheads if you've been there, if you know that. Is it better than the Chipotle, which I feel is like kind of like a litmus test, kind of like a flat line to kind of use? I don't want to say the standard because not a lot of people like Chipotle. Some people just go to Chipotle because it's just there. I would say it's around a Chipotle level experience, though it's a little bit flashier and cuter, so that's nice. Also, I think they had like better looking alcoholic beverages, so that was, neat, but I just stuck to the water. So yeah, there you go. I had a nice little food experience, but actually I'm still going to keep ranting. We're still in blog mode. Last night, a little bit of music update, I guess. We can yap a bit. Kendrick Lamar did the Pop Out show, And essentially, this was going to be his first time doing a performance since the Drake beef. It was pretty big. The way it kind of went down was essentially you can split it up into two halves, kind of how it went. There was a bunch of West Coast performers, and they all would like just kind of coming out throughout the night, doing a lot of really cool performances. A lot of people I didn't know. I will say they started off with was it Rimble, and that was an artist I was at least vaguely familiar with. I heard a couple of their songs, and I was like, okay, dope. Then just like I said, a bunch of West Coast artists that I really wasn't familiar with, but that's cool that like, hey, people are vibing with this. Also, this was in LA or Inglewood, whatever. So like that's a vibe in and of itself. But then you just get to the point of the show where I kind of start realizing like, oh, there's some like heavy hitters here. Like was it Steve Lacy? I think like that's a name that I'm not super familiar with, but I have heard their stuff while I'm just kind of out and about or listening on Spotify. I'm like, okay, that YG. I was like, damn, this is a reminder for me to get into YG. I mean, I listen to him once again here and there. Fuck Donald Trump, of course. But yeah, definitely was like a reminder to listen to him. But you could just kind of tell where the vibe was going. It's like, oh, he's gonna do the diss tracks. So I was very hyped. I was very excited. And then you get to like the second half, which is Kendrick Lamar coming up. He starts off with Euphoria. He does Not Like Us. He does that song 6 times. 6 fucking times. Now, it's not just that. That's like he starts off with Euphoria. He ends with doing Not Like Us 6 times. In throughout that, he does other classic staples throughout his career. It was amazing. It was just so crazy to see this on Amazon Music. I'm literally like watching this shit on Twitch, and I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like kind of scrolling around on the internet and seeing that, oh, of course, my friends are also listening and watching this shit. It just seemed like such a cool vibe. Also just amazing to see so many people come together to be like, yeah, fuck Drake. Fuck this guy. Who gives a shit? Fuck him. Fuck Drake. He's not like us. Like, certified pedophile. It's just, that's crazy to hear that in a stadium. That shit hit different. So, yeah, Kendrick knew what he was doing. Shit was electric. So, yeah, I had to talk about that in my preamble. So, yeah, we've done a little bit of yapping, a little bit more than the usual. But let me go ahead and do my startup, and we will go ahead and get into it. Ooh, I am already dripping with sweat. Ooh. Okay. Our first story is from The Guardian. Russia and Vietnam agreed to strengthen ties during Putin's state visit. So Putin is on the move. Russia and Vietnam have pledged to strengthen ties as Vladimir Putin made a state visit to Hanoi that was intended to signal his country still has allies in the region. The Russian president arrived at Hanoi airport in the early hours of Thursday and was met on a red carpet by the Vietnamese Deputy Prime Minister Tran Hong Ha and the top party diplomat Lee Hoi Trung. He arrived from a high-profile visit to North Korea, where he signed a defense pact with Kim Jong-un that included a clause requiring the countries to come to each other's aid if either was attacked. Excuse me. Speaking to reporters in Vietnam at the end of his 2-day trip, he said he did not rule out sending high-precision weapons to North Korea and accused NATO of creating a security threat to Russia and Asia. Now, overall, this just kind of seems like a vibes thing. It seemed like it was, once again, good vibes for Putin to kind of be like, hey, look, I have friends. Don't you guys like it? Don't you guys like me? Yeah, I remember Russia. I remember the good old times. I remember the Soviet. So, that was interesting to see. Also, my initial surprise was like, oh, shit, he's going to Vietnam. But apparently, like, they have long-standing relationships. Vietnam practices what they call bamboo diplomacy, or maybe what people call their style of diplomacy, where they tend to shift with the winds. They're pretty flexible but strong. So they're willing to work with the West. They're willing to work with Russia. They're willing to work with China. They're willing to work with whoever. As long as you're cool, we'll be cool too. So, they signed some pacts as well, like kind of just, it seems like good vibrations kind of shit. They already have like trade agreements and stuff going on. That being said, Vietnam, like I said, trades with other countries just as much, if not more, like once again, kind of referencing China and the US. So, this really isn't a big news break or anything like that. I was just surprised to kind of see him hop skip from North Korea to Vietnam. And I'm like, oh shit, we fuck with Vietnam too. That's kind of a little surprising. And of course, critics were big mad, but it is what it is. I don't think any of this matters too much. It's just diplomatic visits. I try not to get too bogged down in these anymore because I know they don't really do anything. Let's see. Speaking of motherfuckers who don't do anything, well, I mean, I guess the Supreme Court does things. I don't usually like them. From the USA Today, Supreme Court decision saves Trump-era tax change, dodges big loss in federal tax revenue. Now, I gotta tell y'all, I'm coming into this shit really dumb. I don't really know how to feel about it. I'm kind of just figuring it out as I read it. But let's just dig in and then say we covered it, I guess. The Supreme Court on Thursday upheld a controversial Trump-era tax on foreign income, a win for a win for the federal government, which had warned the failed challenge could have cost it hundreds of billions and perhaps trillions of dollars in tax revenue. Although the case was viewed by some as a proxy debate for wealth tax, Democrats have floated for the ultra-rich. The Supreme Court emphasized that the decision does not address the questions that would raise. Those are potential issues for another day, Justice Brett Kavanaugh wrote for the majority. Now, this was weird because it was a 7-2 split, and the two dissenting was Clarence Thomas and Neil Gorsuch. It's Gorsuch. Gorsh, whatever, fuck him. Fuck them both. But this was weird. Like, essentially everyone else said, no, we want to shut this down. We don't want, and I guess I should get to the story, which always makes it weird when you hear, like, what this is about. The court ruled 7-2 against Charles and Kathleen Moore, a retired couple from Washington State who challenged their $14,729 tax bill on an investment they had made in a company in India. So, I mean, overall, this seems like a very small potatoes amount of money to be, talking about in the Supreme Court. But that's why, I guess, the courts wanted to kind of move the way they did and talk in such a narrow way because they didn't want to make a ruling here that potentially had the ripple effect of making the government lose out on billions of tax revenue. So naturally I feel weird because, like, am I supposed to be, like, rooting for taxes here? I don't feel good about that. But, like, I think essentially what the big decision or the dissension for Clarence Thomas was, he wanted to rule for them to just say, fuck it, like, this way we get to deal with this shit this way, and we can just kind of pin the tail on the donkey now and do it here. Instead of trying to play like small ball, which inevitably is only going to lead to us having to slice this again. But I don't know, maybe I'm interpreting that wrong, but I'm going to say that that's what old Clarence Thomas was talking about. Let's see here. We'll call it good here. Like I said, you can always read the USA Today, or I'm sure it's on CNN or some news app if you want to get the full skinny on it. Y'all know I don't like talking SCOTUS. You can SCOTUS this scrotum. Anyway, that doesn't make any sense and I don't care. From the Associated Press, new law requires all Louisiana public school classrooms to display the 10 Commandments. So, yeah, start off by saying, boo, this is fucking dumb. Louisiana has become the first state to require that the 10 Commandments be displayed in every public school classroom. The latest move from a GOP-dominated legislature pushing a conservative agenda under a new governor. The legislation that Republican Governor Jeff Landry signed into law on Wednesday requires a poster-sized display of the Ten Commandments in large, easily readable font in all public classrooms, from kindergarten to state-funded universities. If you want to respect the rule of law, you've got to start from the original lawgiver, which was Moses, who got the commandments from God, Landry said. Yeah, if you're sticking to the Bible, I guess that's the script you want to run with, I guess. Opponents questioned the law's constitutionality and vowed to challenge it in court. Proponents said the measure is not solely religious, but that it has historical significance. In the language of the law, the Ten Commandments are foundational documents of our state and national government. And because of that, we should have them displayed everywhere, in every classroom, like all the time. Because it's so important. You need to read it. Thou shalt not, I don't know what, covet thy neighbor's stuff, whatever, man. Thou shalt not kill. I'm not gonna list them all out. I used to remember that shit. That was a whole nother day and a whole nother person. The posters, which will be paired with a 4-paragraph context statement describing how Ten Commandments were a prominent part of American public education for almost 3 centuries, must be in place in classrooms by the start of 2025. It's like they're trying to like add all this stuff to like say, hey, here's why we have to do this, and then here it is. Don't we just need to show you why you have to have God in this classroom, because it's just been here the whole time, and obviously people are forgetting, and here's a reminder. Under the state law, state funds will not be used to implement the mandate. The posters will be made through donations. So I guess there's that. That's a slick little dodge. The law also authorizes but does not require the display of other items in K-12 public schools, including the Mayflower Compact, which was signed by religious pilgrims aboard the Mayflower in 1620 and is often referred to as America's first constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and the Northwest Ordinance, which established a government in the Northwest Territory in the present-day Midwest and created a pathway for admitting new states to the Union. The Declaration of Independence stuff and all that kind of makes more sense to me to have in a classroom. Like, maybe not every classroom. I don't know why this isn't going to be in my art room, but like, my woodshop class. But like, I could see that for like, I don't know, social studies or, history, whatever. But at Ten Commandments, I truly do not get it. I remember being a kid or a teenager or some shit, and this was something that was floated about. I can't remember if it was like public school or if it was like just some other government building. But I remember that like back then, I was still religious, and I'm thinking like, but we live in America. This is like, quote unquote, the world's melting pot. How are we going to call ourselves that? But like we have just this book, just this script for everyone to read, and if you don't, then like how are you gonna feel? And that's like why like this shit is gonna get sued by like the ACLU and other civil rights groups, because they're like, hey, for a young student, a student in general, like it creates this weird hostile environment that just shouldn't be the case. Like, you don't need to have this. But yeah, according to lawmakers in Louisiana, this was a top fucking issue. Yeah, I'll just more or less read the thing I paraphrase. Why not? The law prevents students from getting an equal education and will keep children who have different beliefs from feeling safe at school. The American Civil Liberties Union, Americans United for Separation of Church and State, and the Freedom from Religion Foundation said in a joint statement Wednesday afternoon. So yeah, I agree with that statement. I agree with those thoughts. I do not think this is necessary. I'm not trying to say, hey, you can't be a Christian in school. That's fine. You can be whatever you want. You should be allowed to express your religion. I think it's strange, though, that you're saying this has to be at the forefront of every classroom, everywhere, in every school. It doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you can bring up Moses, you can bring up fucking Abraham for all I give a shit. It doesn't matter. Talk about Adam, I still don't give a damn. It's just weird. Just let kids be kids. I don't understand why that's so fucking difficult, and this is what y'all want to focus on. It's so strange to me. All right, my brain is melting. I'm melting. I feel like Clayface. I'm gonna drink some water. I'm gonna take my last break, and then we're just gonna zip on through this. We're gonna put it into fucking overdrive. Oh yeah. Ooh. Ooh-wee. Ooh. All right. Our last story comes from USA Today. Again, CDK Global shuts down car dealership software after cyber attack. A cyber attack on software provider CDK Global upended operations at car dealerships across the U.S. on Wednesday. CDK spokesperson Lisa Finley said the company shut down most of its systems out of an abundance of caution for customers. By Wednesday afternoon, the company had restored its core document management system and digital retailing solutions. We are continuing to conduct extensive tests on all of their applications, and we will provide updates as we bring those applications back online, Finney said in an email statement. Excuse me. Finney did not respond to questions on how many dealerships were impacted, but CDK's website says the company works with more than 15,000 retail locations across North America. So essentially, their software is in every dealership, kind of help maintaining just the dealerships overall, vehicle acquisitions, sales, financing, insurance, or insuring repairs and maintenance. So essentially, we don't know what was hit exactly, what they were going for, what was taken in terms of this attack, but we just know that they are handling it and dealing with it. That's at least all I have as of right now. Y'all know that when I do get more information, I will definitely keep y'all apprised. But yeah, definitely a little interesting wrinkle in the whole cyber world. And yeah, I don't even think they know a culprit yet. But yeah, that's it. That's all I really have. Like I said, I'm literally melting, y'all. So I will keep this debrief, this ending quick and sweet. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, become a newsy today. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Isaiah News 1 at gmail.com for the feedback. Hit me up on any of the socials. Please subscribe to the YouTube. We hit 69. Nice. Let's see. Like buttons, comments, sharing is caring. And hopefully I'll see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Mwah. Bye-bye. Mwah.